Hello, Canadian teen book lovers, and welcome to week 12 of my marathon of books. This past week I've been reading in Quebec, and we had tons of great titles. Also, I was on Canada AM on, I guess it was last Wednesday or so, and the link is on my Facebook page if you want to see it. I had a great time being interviewed by Beverly Thompson, and it was a great atmosphere. So, up this week we have The Plain Janes by Cecil Castellucci and Jim Rugg. It's a graphic novel, and it's geared toward female readers, and it's about this girl named Jane who used to live in Metro City, but after a terrorist attack, her parents moved her to a smaller town, thinking that they'll be safer. Jane herself was caught up in the attack and rescued a man who is now in a coma. It turns out that he was an artist when she goes through his stuff, and she finds his sketchbook and uses his sketchbook as inspiration to create art attacks in the new town where she lives. She meets a few other girls named Jane, and together they form this group who just is creative and tries to make people think about their surroundings by the art that they do. It's very neat. Next up, I have Pieces of Me by Charlotte Gingras. It's about a girl named Mira who is almost 15, and she's dealing with a lot of stuff for being 14 years old. Her dad is divorced from her mother. Her mother is dealing with some undiagnosed mental illnesses, and Mira is just trying to cope and help her mother get through the day-to-day life. She doesn't have a lot of friends, so when she makes a friend in Christine at school, it sort of opens up her world and allows her to see that not everyone is going to betray her and let her down. It's very powerful and extremely well written. The King's Daughter by Suzanne Martel. Wow, this is a great adventure story. It's about a girl named Jeanne who used to live in France but comes to New France because she's a king's daughter, which means she's an orphan and a ward of the crown. And because they needed wives for the settlers in New France, they proclaimed these women to be king's daughters and sent them over to marry the traders and everything. So when she gets to New France, Quebec, she ends up marrying a man who her friend was supposed to marry because her friend fell in love on the boat on the way over. So it's all about how she ends up married to a man she doesn't even know and has to take care of his children and figure out how to survive in the bush and create a house for them, and how she becomes a healer. It's very interesting, and it's just a great story. Next up is Pop by Gordon Corman. Now, Gordon Corman is a pretty well-known, popular Canadian children's/teen author, and I used to read him myself when I was in grade 6. I remembered him as being more lighthearted and funny, with great characters that you just fell in love with. Pop is more serious. It's about this kid named Marcus who moves from a city after his parents get divorced to a smaller town and ends up becoming friends with a mysterious guy whose name is Charlie, who's actually an ex-National Football League player. It turns out that Charlie has early onset Alzheimer's because of his career in football, and the whole story is about how Marcus finds this out and how Marcus sort of becomes a part of Charlie's family and helps this family focus on being there for him and doing the things that he wants to do while he can still remember them. It's a tough read because it doesn't all end well, but it's very well done. Last up, I have Jane the Fox and Me, which looks, based on the size, like a children's book, and it could be considered a children's book, maybe 12, 13 and up, but it's for adults too. It's a graphic novel, and it's about this girl who doesn't have the highest self-esteem. She was abandoned by her friends, and she's sort of an outcast at school, and her old friends are saying horrible things about her. But she finds solace in the book Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and a camping experience allows her to make new friends and find some well-deserved self-confidence. Plus, the pictures themselves, the illustrations, are just gorgeous. I love her use of color because it doesn't pop up that often. They're mostly black and white and grayish illustrations, but then when it does, it's just exquisite. So I would recommend that you pick it up. It's a quick read. It took me about 17 minutes, but it's one that you'll treasure. It's beautiful. So next week I will still be in Quebec, and I think I'll be there for at least a couple weeks more, and I hope you'll join me then. Talk to you soon. Bye.